Hey guys, it's Austin here, and today we're going to be doing a retrospective on the Sega Master System, or the Mark III in Japan. Now, like a lot of people, I didn't even know this existed until recently, and I picked one up. So, I actually enjoy this a lot more than the original Nintendo Entertainment System, which I'm gonna get flack for, but that's okay. This was basically Sega's answer to Nintendo entering the United States market of video games. And so, it didn't do well. It didn't do well in America, but it did good in Europe to the point to where it got it got over 300 games. While in America, I believe we only got like 114, maybe 115, I can't remember. And then in Brazil, they got so many games, and it's so popular there that to the fact today that it's actually still being made. Yeah, Sega is technically in the hardware business, but only in Brazil for the Master System. Now, this is a very long console. It's not heavy. It's actually pretty light. But look at this thing. This doesn't look like anything that is appealing as, let's say, the Nintendo Entertainment System or the Atari. This thing is just huge. This thing is big, it's long, it just doesn't have that look that many Americans at the time were very used to. Now, on the side here, it has, the vents that Sega was used to putting on to their systems at the time. It's kind of got like a bit of a triangle thing going on here. Now, on the back here, it supports RF, AV out, and an AC adapter. Now, what's cool about this is that you can actually take your Model 1 Sega Genesis cords and plug them right into here. Because basically, the Genesis is basically a repackaged Master System with a lot more power, making it 16-bit. And that is awesome. That's why Sega came out with the power-based converter for the Model 1 Sega Genesis, because presumably you have a Master System collection. This thing is big, it's awesome, it's got two ways of playing games. It's got cartridge slot, as you can see, there's cartridge. And then a HuCard slot, kind of what the TurboGrafx 16 uses, but I don't have any of the card games to show you, which I am a little upset about. I'm still trying to get one. It's got the power button right here. It's got a reset button, and it has a pause button on the console, not on the controller, which I will admit is a very small problematic defect in making this. They really should have just put it on the controller, but you can't do anything about it now, so but this is the Model 1 system. I don't have the second model because it's extremely uncommon and hard to find here in America. They got it a lot in Canada for some reason, because if you mainly get a Master System Model 2, it will probably mainly come from Canada. I don't know why, but I guess they got a lot more than we did. But you'll usually find the Model 1. They're a lot more common to find. So if you're looking for a Master System, I would actually recommend going with this one, because the Model 2 only supports RF. Now, RF is, to the youngins, is kind of like composite or HDMI, a cord going into the television, but you're using the radio frequency antenna station, basically the TV channel, for your game system for it to work. So that's how it is. And I already did a review on it itself, but here's the controller. I know it's a little smaller than the original Nintendo controller. They were kind of going for a Nintendo design, but As you can see, there's no pause button, there's no select. The D-pad is a lot different. I actually really like this D-pad. It's not mushy. I mean, it is a little mushy, but you get used to it after a while. It's got, you know, the 1 and 2, A and B, whatever you want to call it. So, but that is the one big flaw with this console, is that there's no pause button on the controller. I really wish that there was. Now, my personal experiences with this thing. I actually recently just picked one up a couple months ago, and I am loving this thing. This thing is so much fun. Like, I wish I played this sooner. Like, there's so many great games, which I'll get into in a minute. This, I mean, yeah, it takes up a pretty big amount of space. It won't fit on one of my shelves, sadly, because the thing is so long. And so, but this thing is fun. Like, if you are looking for an 8-bit system that's different from Nintendo, you gotta try this. Or the Atari, or the Intellivision, or the ColecoVision. Doesn't matter. But we're talking about the 3rd generation here. Now, the Master System, great. This is actually graphically superior to the original Nintendo. Yeah, this has a much bigger color palette. It's a lot smoother to play. You know, there's just so much about it that I could just talk and talk and talk. But I'm not here to do that. Now, let's talk about a couple of games here. Now, I didn't pick out really big iconic ones because everyone knows those ones, like Alex Kidd in Miracle World, Sonic being on here, and Psycho Fox, Phantasy Star. Mainly because I kind of want to, I always, when I'm trying to do these videos, I try to go for a cheaper game route, because that's mainly what I try to go for. Because if you're just getting into this thing, you gotta, you know, you gotta get some cheap games to start out with. And I think the first one I'm gonna start with is the pack-in for the system, Hang On and Astro Warrior, the dual cartridge. You can't go wrong with this thing. It's got 2 games in 1 cartridge. Now, even though the cartridge is this small, it actually holds a lot more storage and space than a regular Nintendo cartridge. So, if you, like I said, this thing is more superior, but not by sales-wise. Although it did sell 30 million units worldwide, but not gonna talk about that. Hang On is a racing game. Astro Warrior is a vertical shoot-'em-up. Both great games. They feel just like arcade games, and they are perfect. This is really cheap to get. I would actually recommend picking this up, and instead of just getting like the standard, you know, single cartridge for each of them, because you can just go the easier route and just get this. You get 2 in 1, so really cheap and easy. Now, a game that's not bad, but is extremely hard, and that is Spellcaster. This is a cheap game too. When I got it for $5. So, Spellcaster is kind of like this action roleplay. Not really, but it's a platformer also. Now, you are a guy whose fate is sealed with what's happening in the world at the moment, and you know, you gotta save your clan from these people destroying the temples and everything. It's a really crazy game, and for moments like when you're talking to people, it'll have you like choose move, look, use, and all these other things. There's password save, and it's a good game. I haven't yet to beat it, but I actually really enjoy this game. It's a lot of fun. Now, an arcade conversion back then, for the Master System and stuff like that, it was never always going to be perfect, such as, you know, Space Harrier and Afterburner. Afterburner, if you don't know what Afterburner is, I recommend you playing it, but, this is not a bad port for the Master System. Now, Afterburner is, you're in a jet, and so it's like an on-rail shooter. It's actually a lot of fun. It's fast-paced, it's quick. Granted, this one is a lot slower, not as easy to control. The barrel roll is there, so I can give him props for that one. The color is great. The ground missions aren't there. It's kind of like a mix between the first and the second game, but it's not that hard. But it's still pretty good to play. It's a lot of fun. Now, if you were looking for a shooter, kind of like let me think here, kind of like Zelda, but not with like a really big action RPG kind of thing. It's just like, you got one stage, you got to go to the next. That's Alien Syndrome. This game, it's good, but it's not the best. Granted, I would love this game a lot more if you could use the Sega Genesis controllers on the Master System for this game, which you can use Genesis controllers for this, but you can't use it for this game, which is a really big bummer because that directional pad would just be so perfect to have. Because using this directional pad, it's not as great. I mean, personal opinion wise, it's not that great, but not a bad game, the least. Now, most of my Sega Master System games are loose cart games. I only really have one game that's complete with the manual in the box, and this game is a sports game. It's a lot of fun, and I didn't expect it to be so much fun, and this is probably going to be surprising. Great golf. Now, this is what the Master System boxes look like for the cartridges. It looked like binder paper, like they're using clip art. This can't really touch as much as the Nintendo cardboard boxes would for holding their cartridges. But I do enjoy this game. It's basically just golf, but it's a lot of fun, and this game is up to 4 players. Even though there's only 2 ports. So, this game actually plays really well. I actually think this is the best sports title for the Sega Master System. I don't even know why golf is a sport anyways with Tiger Woods. I don't understand golf, but my grandparents owned a golf course. I grew up playing golf as a kid. Not a lot, admittedly. Never got into it, but I like this game nonetheless. But anyways, that's the Sega Master System in a whole. Just some of the games, my personal experience with it. This console is great. If you have never experienced it, you have to. There was so much lost potential with this thing in North America. It's so sad that it never reached the peak of Nintendo's 8-bit system, and it's a shame. Now, I know Sega is currently making the Dreamcast Mini, which I do hope to make a video on, but I really, really do hope that maybe one day they can make a mini of the Sega Master System, because this is by far my favorite 8-bit console of the 3rd generation, and the Nintendo Entertainment System is probably in a close second with the Atari 7800, but those are for other videos. But thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.